filing a trademark. There are several options out there. So Paul is a lawyer and he works with
Hey,
awesome lawyers too. So Paul, what are the options out
dude.
there? What do you think people should do when filing their trademarks?
Well, you can do it yourself. There's certainly that option. People do it themselves. And that works if your trademark is a slam dunk. I mean, the actual application for filing a trademark is really easy. There's no question. It's not a hard thing to do. There's Trademarkia or one of those websites which will help make it a
Yep.
little bit easier, but we get a lot of problems from them. I almost honestly think sellers are better off with doing it on their own than with Trademarkia, to be honest with you. Yeah, we've seen them screw up some things. But if you're not going to do it yourself, you definitely get help. I mean, it can work out great. You can file it by yourself. It's not rocket science, and it can work out great. But what do you know about trademark law? I mean, if you're trying to trademark the sharp knife, that's a descriptive trademark, and somebody could tell you that right away if they know what they're talking about. You don't have to wait 9 months for what's called an office action to find out that you don't have it. Or you might be surprised to find out that just because you applied for a trademark that wasn't in existence in your category, well, guess what? There still might be a likelihood of confusion. The officer might say, well, this trademark exists in this category, is a likelihood of confusion. They may want to expand in that category, or they're in, there's all these things that can happen. We do clearance searches. You have to look for where has this word been used. Your trademark might not show up in USPTO because nobody's actually trademarked it. It doesn't mean that the person who used it before doesn't have a right to trademark. We are a first to use nation, not a first to register. So you can actually have a trademark without ever registering it. The downside of not registering it is your inability to get damages. But at the end of the day, people can have a trademark outside of USPTO. And so you want to do these clearance searches that we have software for that we use to make sure that, when you go to file your mark, you're looking good. And that's what we do, because we recognize that our clients, they want to be on brand registry as quickly as possible. And for them, it's 9 months and then another God knows how many months to remedy the situation.
How long does it take if you fail to get in 3, 6-ish?
It depends on why you failed. But yeah, I mean, you're asking them to make another decision. It's like 3 to 6 months easily. I mean, it can take for a while. Sometimes, what do you do if there's a trademark that's already in existence that you like and you like to use? And, like, let's say you fail for, situation we're dealing with right now. Somebody failed because of likelihood of confusion. Choices are we can challenge the validity of their mark, or we can reach out and try to do what's called a consent agreement, which is where the other side agrees to let the other party do the trademark. And there's ways to go about that. But yeah, it takes a while. I mean, it's probably at least 6 months or so a process, unless it's something really like basic, like disclaiming the word. So, it's just better to get the advice on the front end and get it done right on the front end. We have great trademark lawyers who really know their stuff. They think about this stuff all the time. And, they can tell you that this is descriptive, or that, we noticed in these categories, you might run a risk here, and maybe troubleshoot with you. Maybe there's another name out there. If you're dead set on the name and it's the only name, and if you don't get it, you wouldn't even be in business, then, I guess you can file it yourself. But we deal with so many office actions where people spend, either they did it themselves, which I prefer when they did it themselves. At least that way they didn't spend, the money on Trademarkia to have them mess it up and then have to come to us for help with the office action. But we see a lot of preventable mistakes that could have been made. Disclaiming rights to certain words, the big one, right? Like if the word you're using is a common word next to your funky word, you may have to disclaim all rights to that. If you didn't know that, well, you might have just triggered an office action. So, again, these are things that we understand that our clients want to get on brand registry, that they're bringing a product to market. They want to get on brand registry quickly. We're going to do everything we can. We know the law. We play this game all day long, and we're going to basically help you get to brand registry as quickly as possible. If that's the goal.
And I'm just going to interject here. Like, if you're going to bother with filing a trademark, so there's 2 things. One, you need a sales estimator when you're selling on Amazon. You need to know what's selling. And then I guess this would be the only other like hardcore requirement is if you're going to make a trademark, I really don't do it yourself, because the cost of waiting 3 to 6 months of one hijacker, or having your brand made, building a brand, and then having to redo it because it was like, oh, you're infringed on someone. Now they say, oh, we're either going to sue you or you have to change your whole brand. Like the potential downsides compared to how much you have to pay, and like the amount of time you have to research and just like the cost of that, trying to do it yourself. This is not a DIY.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you can do it yourself is sort of, I mean, obviously being a little bit facetious. I'm just saying the form itself is very easy to do. And sometimes maybe that's the problem. It's too easy. But what I don't understand with sellers is how do you invest so much money in a product and manufacturing it in China, having it shipped here, it's taking months, all this, and you have something printed on it and you don't even know from anybody whether you have a chance in heck of having that trademark approved. I mean, it's happened to people. They make products with a word on it that they can't use and that product gets destroyed. Or, I have a box of their products in their basement as a, thanks for trying to help, what can you do? It's shocking to me that you're going to invest this much time and energy into a product and then you're going to try to skimp on transparent. I think we're $1,500 for a trademark. I'm sure we're not the cheapest. And that I think includes the fees for whatever that's worth, but get some advice,
Yeah. If you're getting a trademark, you're at a point where you have something to protect.
Yeah.
And it's going to make you so much money if it's worth protecting and gives you so many other benefits. If it was you applied and next day you figured out, I would probably say just keep trying yourself till it works.
Of course, absolutely.
It's so long that this is just because of that time frame and the opportunity cost is where you got to get a professional's help with this.
Yeah, I'll say with our firm, if somebody, if somebody's asking me and saying I want to trademark, my company, pink hairbrush because we sell pink hairbrushes. I mean, we're not going to charge $1,500 to tell you that that's not a good name for your brand, right? That's overly descriptive. In the $1,500 that we charge, including the fees, is usually if we decide that it's worth filing. So if we go through this process with you and we do the clearance search and we come back and say, you got nothing here, we don't go ahead and file the whole thing for you. We don't charge the whole fee. I mean, we would only charge, if we did everything, we would just charge the fee for doing the clearance search and refund the rest. Because obviously, we're not going to charge you to file a trademark if it's not worth filing. But there's good advice out there. Just get it. Your whole business is banking on this name. Don't take it in your own hands. I mean, I know there's a DIY mentality and there's a time and place to save money, but this is your business. You've invested your blood, sweat, and tears in this. Why is this the place you want to skip? It's your product's name. And people get tripped up all the time with this. They really do. And they are so surprised because they didn't know the name was in another class, that it still counts. It can still be considered confusing. It's amazing what people don't know about trademark. I mean, I still learn stuff every day about this space. Like I said, I am not the trademark expert in my firm, but I do interface with the most sellers in my firm. And I see the stories and it's sad. It really is tragic.
But Paul can make it not tragic. So
yes, my partners can make it not tragic.
If you want Bill Gates, patent lawyer or IP guy, you might be able to get him.
Yeah, it's really not that expensive. We've built our business, our law firm on being accessible for sellers, and that's what we're doing. And so we're bringing lawyers with resumes to the marketplace, people who know what they're talking about. I'm certainly the first one to say I'm talking in a field where I'm not the expert, but I like talking about this stuff because I just see when it goes wrong so many times that I just want to warn sellers, don't have to hire my firm. I'm not going to get insulted. In fact, I don't know who you are if you're watching me probably. If you like this video, by the way, please hit the thumbs up. And if you don't like it, double click the thumbs down. Is that the joke that they do now? I don't know. So just do it the right way. Do it right the first time.